Hey, this is Augie, Augie's Locker Room. When you come to the store, you're going to see things that you've probably never seen before unless you've been to a museum. Great items that go back to the Rockney era to the present. Website, augieslockerroom.com. Visit us here or the website.
Tim Prister with Tim O'Malley on the field here at Ohio Stadium. Tim, a lot of the talk this week, or the question that has been asked of us a lot is there a path for victory for Notre Dame? Yeah, I think absolutely there is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a natural question when it's a 17-point underdog, but when you look at things on the field and take away a little bit of public perception, Notre Dame's defense can help dictate a little bit to Ohio State's offense, which can mitigate what Ohio State's offense can do in terms of damaging you over the top. Now, it doesn't completely shut down Ohio State's offense. That's not really an option, I think, in modern era and against this team. But if Notre Dame can win up front defensively and play a little bully ball offensively and convert, there's a definite path to victory for Notre Dame.
Bully ball. I think with Jarrett Patterson in the lineup, I think everybody would feel comfortable and confident that could happen. What we're hearing is he's going to dress and come out here and try to give it a go in pregame. We still don't think that's going to work, but he's a tough kid and he may give it a try. I'm kind of thinking now, as this game has approached, come a little bit closer, that both offensive lines will struggle, which is why I like a lower scoring game tonight. Yeah, well, you're losing number one or number 1A offensive line of Jarrett Patterson, the leader, the reason Zeke Correll's moved over from probably Andrew Kristofic, who's played well last year, but we haven't heard anything about Andrew Kristofic since last year, since it seemed like he was getting benched for Jarrett Patterson in the spring and in August camp. So, I don't think it's going to be a situation where Notre Dame can bully them. I'm saying they have to win up front, too. I don't think Notre Dame can beat Ohio State if they're sitting there trying to throw from behind the whole time. I know you were talking about how you don't worry about how much time you take off the clock and everything, but I do like the idea of, hey, let's go into the 4-minute offense here. Let's go into this. There are certainly times in a game where you go ahead and do that. Yeah, but you're right, they need points too. Yeah. So the way you get points, if Ohio State answers the points, you get your points too. That's the way it's got to go, I think. Tyler Buchner, of course, making his starting debut tonight. It is not an exaggeration to use the phrase, all eyes are on Tyler Buchner. And it's really important when we talk about the Notre Dame running game. It's really important that his running game, that aspect of his game, comes out. Now, that's probably the best way to get him to feel comfortable throwing the football. Yeah. Break a sweat, take a couple hits. But I think he has to get involved in the running game, especially if Notre Dame's going to have success running the football. Yeah, I still think a real key to this game is if Buchner can be involved running the ball 65 yards, something along that line. Chris Tyree can be involved with about 10 carries, 12 carries, 65, 75 yards. Audric Estime can be involved doing the same thing. Bring that to Ohio State's defense and you can pass off of it. Look, I have completely joined the modern era of throwing to set up the run, but I really think that Notre Dame can have some success. If Tyler Buchner runs the ball, with the rest of the team, I think will be able to run the ball well. Yeah. Notre Dame's defense against this offense, a real challenge. Al Golden in his first game as defensive coordinator, and Notre Dame has to face C.J. Stroud in that offense. But again, we've talked about this all week. This is absolutely the best time to play Penn State, the best time to play to Ohio State, the best time to play against C.J. Stroud and Travion Henderson. And, Smith and Jigba, Jackson and Smith and Jigba, he's tremendous. It's incredible. He caught 60 passes in the last 5 games and almost 1,000 yards in the last 5 games of last year. But there has to be a chemistry developed with Marvin Harrison and Buka and guys like that, Fleming. Now is the best time to play them. It will be very interesting to see what Al Golden thinks he can do defensively against this offense. He's got 7 defensive back with 7,000 snaps. Now, does that mean those guys aren't good enough to go pro yet? And they're still in college, but it still helps. If you're going to be playing some games, Al Golden, and you're going to have to disguise things, it's good to have safeties you can trust, corners that have played before. Look, they have corners that have started playoff games. They've had a corner that's played in a playoff game against Trevor Lawrence and Bryce Young. I mean, you think about how much experience this Notre Dame secondary has. Now it's their time to prove it, though, because I don't think anyone comes into this thinking, oh, Notre Dame's secondary is going to be a strength. But they can't be a weakness either, because then it doesn't really matter what Notre Dame's defensive line does. For everybody that's been watching college football, every game that we can possibly see last weekend, Thursday, this weekend, I'm seeing a lot of bad special teams play, which is, I think, kind of customary at the beginning of the season. Australian rules punters that take their time, they're getting their punts blocked, kick the ball,
My whole point is special teams. You can't let special teams beat you. I think Notre Dame feels really good with Brian Mason as their coordinator. Noah Ruggles is their kicker, and he never misses.
Yeah.
So how do you think the special teams will work out?
Yeah, it's. You give Ohio State the edge because of Ruggles, and you don't know it. But look, we don't know what Blake Grupe's going to be in this environment until Blake Grupe's into this environment. I know he's played at Georgia, he's played at Alabama, he's played at LSU. Two of those three. You know what? He hasn't played at them when it was a close game on ABC at 7:30. So it's great that he has kicked in these environments. It's going to be a test for him. And look, I do think if Bryce McPherson can put his kickoffs in the end zone, that helps Notre Dame too. You do need to win the field position game if you're the Irish.
Yeah. Irish Illustrated's pregame instant analysis. It's going to be a great one here in the shoe tonight.